For this project, I wanted to find data to go with my MNS story covering wildfires in Colorado. After some research, I found this information which documents fires in Colorado from 1960 to 2009. My communicative goal for my infographic was to take the data from the Colorado wildfires document and make a visual representation of the data in a way that made the data easily absorbed and understood. I felt that the original data contained so many numbers and columns that it was hard to fully grasp. By creating a visual representation, I felt that viewers would be able to have a better understanding of what the numbers meant and see some of the trends and relationships within the data. I decided to use PictoChart to create my design. I have used Illustrator and Photoshop in the past, but I found that this program had many of the same tools and functions as Illustrator and was just as good in my opinion, but was free and simple to use. With my design, my intent was to convey the number of fires in Colorado over the decades and showcase the increasing number over the years. At first glance of the data, you cannot really tell that the decade average number of fires drastically increases from the year 1960 to the year 2000. So I wanted to bring awareness to that. My intent was to create something that was visually pleasing and easy to understand, but also accurately portrayed the data and showed the rising number of fires. Some of the design principles I intentionally implemented were alignment, contrast, and repetition. I wanted to align the elements in a linear fashion in a timeline order. This way the viewers would follow the pattern of the alignment of the elements down the list as the data progressed through the years. Next, I implemented contrast in the colors that I used. I wanted to use the bright red and orange flames against the dark green trees to catch the eye of the viewer and make a powerful image that represented the danger and intensity of fire. I also used the color red in the numbers of the acres burned to represent fire again. Lastly, I used repetition in my elements for my design to give a simple and easy to read look. I repeated the same tree icon for each year so that the numbers of fires for each year would stand out. Having the same titles and designs as the infographic progressed would make it so that it was concise and clear. The only design principle that I found not really relevant to this design was proximity. I did not have any intentional use of proximity or grouping of objects to create certain relationships. Instead, I just ordered the elements in a more chronological order that was visually appealing. Overall, I felt this infographic was fairly successful and communicated my intended message. I did feel that the sizing of the infographic as a whole was a bit off, and since it had so many items going down, the length became very long and caused the images to be a little smaller than I would have liked. But overall, I really enjoyed experimenting with data visualization and felt my infographic helped make this data easier to digest and understand.